What's up, guys? I'm back with another league racing video, and if you have not been following along, I will tell you now. So I run this league. I started this league and have run this league and made it a little different in a couple different ways of the past few seasons. But this season we've got a no assist division and an assist allowed division, and I'm in the no assist division, and there is an assist allowed division that runs at the same time. So for a couple of different reasons, just the way it ended up. This is the last race of the season, and we ended up not really having anybody to host the assists allowed division. So I made the unprecedented decision to make this basically a multi-class race, which you don't hear often, right? In the F1 game, that people are doing multi-class races, and I don't know that you would say it's really a multi-class race in truth. But we do have two different classes of drivers with two different levels of assists going on. So we have five of us who are running no assists here, and then the rest of the drivers are running some degree of assists. So I will tell you the people running no assists are How 9100, me, Grego 8776, Sailor J 143, and F1 Original Polly. So watch out for those guys throughout the race because they're the ones that I'm really racing. This may be a new concept, that us running this kind of multi-class race, but it's not really new for me to be running no assists in a field of people running assists. It's actually what I did last season. I think Hal did that as well. So Hal and I last season were both running no assists, and the rest of the grid was running assists. So this is not exactly new to us, but it is new to most of the people who are part of this race. And I'll say my expectations for the race are pretty much that I'll get dusted quite a bit. I mean, there's no question that I'm slower than pretty much everyone running assists. I am more consistent, so there's an opportunity for me to maybe make up some places if people make errors and make mistakes. And right here, you see the mistakes start to happen. Grego is out of the race, again, one of my FE or no assist competitors. And a couple other people got some damage and went to the back. I think Hal and Sean McGlock behind me both got damage and went to the back of the grid. And, interestingly, we didn't have a lot of that in the no assist division this year. And I watched back some of the tape, and I actually think that whole incident was Sean McGlock's fault, who's running assists. So you may think that the no assist guys are going to be the ones locking up and causing issues, but actually I think we kept it pretty clean for the most part throughout this race. So I was really proud of everybody with the ability to do that and not make us look bad, I guess. Got a nice little restart there, slipped right by Sailor J. So I'm up to P6 here, a little post restart from that safety car. And you see Hal here, he's much faster than I am. It's not that I let him by here. I mean, I didn't let off, but I wasn't going to fight him. I knew he was faster, and the last thing I wanted to do was hold him up for 4 or 5 seconds, just meaningly fighting over a meaningless place. So I was just decided to kind of lift a little bit and let him go, and he does go, and he's on the hard, so he's I theoretically should have more pace in the mediums, but he's a better and faster driver than I am, so that's just the way it goes. I do feel like I'm doing pretty well at this point in the race, given that I don't have any assists and a lot of the guys around me do. But I can tell that it's the inevitable. Some of these guys are going to catch me. There's no question. Poppy JDM 69 is definitely showing some pace in the couple of races that he's been a part of this league. So I knew he was going to get by here, and you see him benefiting from knowing the right place to brake there. I braked way too early, and he was off to the races, and I didn't really have much chance to catch him here. Although I do think I used a lot of battery trying to do it, but he's smart with his defense. He defends, and I don't really have the opportunity to catch him. Mud Duck will be next up behind me, Sean McGlock behind him, and both of those guys theoretically should have the ability to catch me if they're on it. But also I will say that we're at the point in the race right now where I'm really starting to heat up and feel pretty good on the track and feel pretty good on these tires. I didn't actually practice before this race. I did 2 time trial laps, and I was a little rusty. And then the qualifying session was wet. You may have seen the very end of it at the beginning of this video. and I got P10 out of P11, but it was wet, so it wasn't a great representative of what the track was going to be like when it was dry. And at the beginning of the race, I felt a little uncomfortable, just a little unsure of my braking points of the rhythm of the track. But I really felt it start to come towards me as we went throughout the race. And also, this is Monza, so it's not like it's not like it's that hard of a track. You just have to figure out a couple of braking points, and otherwise it's a big oval, so it's not like it's not like it's a really difficult track to learn like maybe some of the others on the grid are. Mud Duck looks like he's going to have a real opportunity here to get by me. You see us pass F1 Original Paulie, who pitted, which does, of course, help me in the race, the FE race, as we called the no assist division. Mud Duck gets by me pretty easily, much the same as the house situation. I don't know, maybe I could have defended a little bit better there against Mud Duck, but I didn't. I felt a little uncomfortable kind of holding up these guys in the other class as well. I mean, again, this is the first time we've done a multi-class race, so it's not like we have a bunch of rules around how you're supposed to interact with other members of other classes. And Sean McGlock gets by here. I wish I had given more of a defense there, because I pretty much let him by, and I hope I still beat him anyway. I don't remember exactly what happens, but I wish I'd defended a little bit better there and maybe stuck up for myself a little bit more, because I did kind of feel like maybe I had decent pace comparable to him. I didn't really feel like that against some of the other guys, but I think Sean McGlock, I think that he and I had pretty decent pace compared to each other when I was really hitting my spots and running well. You see right here, I pass, I don't know who that was. But I passed him, so I'm up to P4. But we did get a safety car there, and so of course we'll all be bunched up back together again, and you sort of get it completely wiped out. But this was potentially the worst part of the race for me. So we go into the pits here. I was thinking I was going to stick on what they gave me at first, and then kind of last second saw a bunch of other people go into softs and said, oh, I should go into the soft tires, and I went through the tire menu and went the wrong way and ended up on wets, and it is completely dry, and I'm the only driver on the grid on wets right now. So the next lap, I go around under the safety car. The next lap I come in and get the softs, and I'm in P8 out of P9, so I absolutely sacrificed some positioning there. The hope is that given we're restarting under safety car, the hope is that won't actually hurt me because we're all so close to each other. It very well could hurt me because, of course, if you've done any racing, you know that even one spot can make a difference on a safety car restart. So it was unfortunate that I put myself in this position, but I was able to keep a cool head and not bin it while I was on the wets on the completely dry track in the next lap, and get onto the softs and not really hurt myself too much. So you see we've got a glitch here. The order is all messed up. This happens sometimes with broadcast safety car. You just kind of have to ignore it for a couple seconds and then it fixes itself. But the game thinks that I'm in P5 when I'm actually in P8. But you'll see it fixes itself pretty quickly, and I don't think it caused any issues whatsoever. But it is always a bit of a logjam coming into T1 here, and I felt like everybody kept it pretty clean, which was nice. Almost ran into the back of him. You could argue that was a bit of an unsafe kind of maneuver, but it was all fine. Paulie has rapid pace and gets by me there. Remember, he was behind me on the restart, so that's pretty well done by him to make up a couple places. And he also had a rocket start at the beginning of the full race as well, so good for him. I mean, he's absolutely rapid. I'm guessing he had a pretty time trial focused setup because he had a lot of top speed, and maybe he was just really quick out of the turns too. Kung Fu Panda's got a drive through. I think that was a Delta issue that he had right before or right after the safety car was called out, rather, and he's obviously in a hurry to make up some of those places. I wasn't too pressed about letting him by because I know he's got a drive through, and as long as I don't make any mistakes, he has no chance of catching me whatsoever. So that was non-problematic to me. And you can see now that he's over 17 seconds behind me on lap 22. So As I mentioned, just didn't have any chance whatsoever. So Mud Duck is coming up right behind me and takes the outside line. You see the blinking caution flag, and there's Hal, who unfortunately was fighting for the win, and I got the impression just pushed a little too hard and lost it there. But if you are keeping track at home and you know the history here, Hal is certainly the biggest competitor that I have in FE to take a win from. And I thought maybe Monaco I could get a win, but when Hal DNF'd, but just wasn't able to do it at the end of the day. But here you see F1 Original Paulie is going slow for whatever reason. I don't know exactly what happened there, but he is now behind me, which means I am leading my class. And keep in mind, I've never gotten a win in this series, okay? In this league. And yeah, this is a 5-car grid, so it maybe means a little bit less than if I'm in this position with 20 cars. But nonetheless, I'm happy with this position that I'm in because currently it's 6, 7, 8 is 1, 2, 3 in the FE no assist division. So, and we're getting very close to the end of the race. So this could really go my way if I continue to drive well. And I do think that I've driven really, really well. I think probably my only big mistake really was when I put on the wet tires and it didn't end up really costing me anything just because it was under safety car and I was able to keep it clean on the restart and not have an issue. But now F1 Original Paulie goes into the pits. I want to say he must have gotten some damage or something on that lap whenever he spun out and I went past him because now the closest competitor to me is 22 seconds away in my class. So as long as I don't massively bin this, I should have my first win in this division and in this league. You see me pick up another place against an assist driver, so I'm now true P5 out of a starting grid of 11, which in my mind is pretty decent given that I'm using no assists, did not practice for this race, and also am really just not that fast overall. I mean, if I'm using assists, I'm still a lot slower than most of these guys, so for me, I think this is a really, really nice outcome, a really solid performance, and something that I'm really happy with. And I do come across the line in P5, so P5 right in the full grid, but that will end up being first place in my class. And I'll show you the results here in a second. But as I said, this is the last race of the season for us, and a really nice one to get a win on, and hopefully I can just continue this momentum and get some solid results next season.